Hello, my name is Sean O'Ryan. I'm the head of the Department of Sociology at Maynooth, and I'm recording this in May 2021 as just an overview or an introduction to the rest of the sociology degree, really aimed at our students who are taking sociology in first year this year. Just because we've less of a chance to talk to you than we normally would, and less of a chance for you to ask questions. So you may be wondering what happens after first year, and this is just a brief 3-4 minute video just to give you a sense of that and maybe even where you can go afterwards. So we're going to talk about three kind of pillars to our degree: key ideas or concepts, and then we're going to talk about how to become a researcher. That's another second massive pillar to this. And I have another computer beside me here that's pinging away, that's going crazy. So that's what you're going to hear in the background. And then the third one is the chance to follow your own interests. We give you a lot of optional modules and chance to pursue a thesis that you're interested in. So that's where we're going. Let me tell you a little bit more about each of those now. Key ideas. So we have a set of modules that take you through classical social theory, which is a course about kind of the key massive social changes that affected society in the last 100, 200 years, the rise of capitalism, gender, racial domination across the world, whole range of different things, industrialization, technology, and so on. Then structures of inequality, which focuses mainly on race, class, and gender, and those inequalities in society and how they have shifted and how they work together. And then contemporary social theory, which looks at social theory today, which a lot of which focuses on how power and culture fit together, but also on things like new trends like globalization, technology, and so on. So that's a set of key ideas that are kind of pillars of sociological thinking. And then we have the second strand here in purple, how to become a researcher. And here you start in second year with research methods and overview, and then you specialize a little bit in one of these three methods. You actually have a choice. You can do two of the three if you like. And then in third year, you have a chance to do your own major piece of research on a topic. Not entirely free to choose, but you have a lot of scope to choose the topic. And then finally, you have a huge range to follow your own interests. And you can see I've just loosely grouped the kind of modules that we're offering next year. They vary a little bit from year to year, but you can see there's modules around people's lives, the stages of people's lives, about Ireland and Irish society. And you've already had that in first year, but you're getting more. Kind of various aspects of culture, media, religion, technology, law, tourism, and so on. And a lot of these overlap, of course, with the other categories. Global issues, human security, development, environment, links into politics, social movements right up to, and there's a whole lot of modules you can take that are more specifically about politics that aren't even listed here. And then different pillars of inequality: gender, race, class, and so on. So you can see there's a lot here within those three main strands. How does that get put together into the degree itself? Well, the structure of the course is, and this is second year, and you can see I'm kind of hairing through this. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but of course feel free to pause and look at the slides. Second year, learn the key ideas. You start with classical social theory, and then in the second semester, structures of inequality. At the same time, you're doing another strand in becoming a researcher, social research methods, followed by that specialization in one of those three modules: fieldwork, survey, or online research. And then you've got a set of options that you can take, lots of different options. You can follow your interests. Sometimes the classes get full, but rarely enough, and you always have another interesting alternative available to you. And then that takes you into third year. Third year, you've even more options. You just have contemporary social theory and the key ideas. You've got a lot of scope here to carry out your research thesis that runs all year, and you've got support from the department in doing that. And you work with your fellow students as well, not on a group project, but you work in groups to support individual projects. And then meantime, you still have these sets of optional modules, lots of different interests. Okay, so that's kind of how those different ideas get expressed in the structure of the course. Just very briefly then, what I'm going to say is a little bit about where you might go at the end of all this. Where will you be in 2 years' time? So first of all, just what are the kinds of ways that you might have grown and developed? What are the things that I'm not going to go through all of these in detail. They're all here for you to read through. But you can see that they range from, an understanding and knowledge about the subject itself, the perspective you get. You have an Irish perspective, but also Europe and the broader world. A lot of international dimensions to our degree. And you'll get that from your fellow students, who are a very international group, as well as from the material. And it's a real incredible richness, I think, we get in the course from our students and their various experiences locally, internationally, through their families. Some families that are rooted, some students whose families are rooted in, generations living nearby, and they're having chats with students who have coming from families who are relatively recently arrived in Ireland. So that's a fantastic richness to the course. But there's also a more general set of kind of skills that you get. Critical thinking certainly is one of the main focuses of what we're trying to do. A whole load of research skills, which is a very valuable skill that you can take into any line of work. The ability to work independently, to work with others, to write well, all of these things are key skills that you will develop. And I think sometimes people get to the end of the degree, they've developed those things, but they don't quite fully understand how far they've come, and that's why we've listed them here. And then finally, you can think about the kind of directions of degrees. There's a longer presentation, and you can see more at this line on the website. And I encourage you to go visit the website for more detail. Anyway, there's a lot of information there. Of course, the BA will take you into the open labour market. Right, it's a good general degree, and remember, you've got those skills, those research skills, and so on. A lot of students end up taking an MA, sometimes in more professional areas, social work, education. You can do politics and society. You can teach it for the Leaving Cert now. Our own masters in sociology and politics, and you can see where does this take you. Some into very specific professional areas, teaching social work and so on, with extra experience, extra qualifications. Then there's this general area here of public affairs, politics, political advisors, media, journalism, policy research, working in the community and voluntary sector, working for state agencies or employer associations, for example, trade unions. All those kind of areas are open to you. And of course, getting an MA strengthens you for the open labour market as well. And then finally, just to say that the option is there if you're really interested in pursuing the research career. You have the PhD, which will take you towards academia, but also into policy research and so on. So I've taken up enough of your time. Hopefully that is helpful and answers some of your questions. Of course, feel free to follow up with your lecturers or the tutors or with the department if you have any other questions, and look through, follow our Twitter and look through the website for any further information. And best of luck, whatever you choose to do. Best of luck in the rest of your time at Maynooth, and hopefully most, if not all of it, is actually in person with us. All the best.